So how do you create a killer video mini course? And how do you do that using a lot of the free tools that are available to us out there? And how do you do this even if you don't have the strongest tech skills or you haven't really shot a lot of video before? Well, in this video, I'm going to break it all down for you. Now, this is our third video in our 10K digital product video series. There'll be a link down in the description to the full playlist, and I highly recommend going back and watching those first two videos before you watch this one. Specifically, I'll be talking about how to create a video mini course in this video. But if you want to create an ebook, I have a video down in the description as well. I've already created a video on my channel on how to do that. So as someone who's sold over 7,000 digital products, video mini courses are a massive part of how I create passive income online. Now, they are really great for when you need to show people how to do something. So in my case, I show people how to make tutorials on video effects and animations on my Flatback Effects channel. Now, again, I'm also approaching this from the point of view that you don't have a lot of video skills, and that's completely fine. I'm going to keep it really simple, and I'm going to show you a lot of different tools that are out there available to us in order to do this. A video mini course is the best digital product that I recommend starting with because it's something you can make in a shorter period of time. Now, I have full-fledged flagship products or larger digital video courses that really go into a lot of depth into a whole topic. Now, they might include 50 plus videos. A mini course is just something that includes maybe 5 to 8 videos, and they're anywhere from sort of 8 to 15 minutes in length. But they really get down and address a really specific issue that people might be struggling with. So in the last video in this video series, we looked at how to actually work out that product idea through that process of validation. That's then going to lead into the foundation of your digital product, in this case, the mini course. But this on screen is the best format or the layout or the structure that you can use for each of those videos. So if you're going to create a mini course, which is 5 videos, each video is going to follow this process. This again is from my free mini workshop. You can find that down in the description below. The first thing is we need to present the tagline or the value proposition to your audience. This is what's going to be the goal of what you're offering to them or what your problem you're going to solve for them. Next, you'll spell out exactly what you'll be covering. So I'm going to teach you 1, 2, 3. Then you need to introduce the proof. So the proof is why it's important for them to do this or follow these steps, you know, the actual results they're going to achieve. Then you can get into the actual training intro. Then you can get into your training. At the end of your training or your first set of training, you're going to do a training recap. So this is really important and you're backing this up because people need to hear things 3 or 4 times. So by recapping that training, you're re-emphasizing that and forcing them into a position to take action. Then you can go back and complete steps 4, 5, and 6 again. So each video might have multiple broken down sections within it. So if you're trying to solve one issue in that video, then maybe break that down into one of these topics. Then for the next part, you're going to do that same thing again. You're going to introduce training, do the actual training, and then you're going to recap that training. The more you break this down and make it more bite-sized for people, the easier it is for that audience to actually take that and act and implement that information. At the end of this, you're going to recap the entire training. So just go through all the things that you've covered in that training. And again, why it's important for them to follow through with this offer. And then you're going to bring in the conclusion. So all of this can be done sort of between 8 and 15 minutes. That's the sort of length that I would aim for each video. And again, anywhere from 5 to 8 videos for a mini course is a really good number. Now you might need more time and that's okay. You can expand this out, but just remember if you're getting into sort of 10 plus videos that are 20 to half an hour long, then you're probably starting to get a bit too generalized in your topic. So it's a good indication of whether you're really targeting that specific thing and really making that information small enough and concise that people can really absorb that and implement that in their own way. Now remember that you're the expert, you're the one who knows the topic, you know what you're talking about. So just talk to the camera like you're talking to someone, like you were explaining it to me, for instance. You know, your personality is why people are following you. So if you can get that across in your video, the more natural you come across, the better it's going to be for those people to sort of engage with you. Now, as far as actually filming your video, for instance, I'm using a mirrorless camera with a prime lens on front of it. You don't need to get all of this fancy camera equipment and lighting in order to create a video. You can simply just use your phone. People do not care about the quality that you're filming. They care about the quality of the content that they've paid for. One important thing to do is to add a microphone if you're using your phone. You can simply get one of these really cheap just from like Amazon, one that plugs into the bottom. For instance, I'm using an iPhone. You might be using an Android, and that's fine. Just search on Amazon for a plug-in lapel mic that you can plug into your or clip onto your shirt and plug into the bottom of your phone. And that's just going to give you a lot better audio when you're actually recording. As far as recording, I just use the native app that's built in. So the camera app on your iPhone is absolutely fine. It doesn't need to be super high quality. The most important thing is just lighting. So when you're setting it up, try and frame it up like I have, something like a mid shot with a little bit of headroom. You want a relatively clean background. You know, don't sit right up against a wall. Try and give yourself a little bit of distance off the back of the wall or the background. Try not to make it too cluttered because you don't want people getting too distracted. And as far as lighting, you want to set up some sort of light. If you have lights, you can buy cheap lights online at roughly a 45 degrees. So I've only got one light source lighting this entire scene that I'm in, and it's just one big softbox that I've got set up off on a 45 degree angle here. If you don't have that and you have a window, for instance, I have a window off to my side that's behind this curtain, I could just open up these curtains, sit side onto that window or at a 45 degree to that window, just so you kind of light yourself really evenly, and turn off the lights inside your house. So if you're using the window to light yourself, use that on the side and then turn off the lights on the thing, and then set up your camera in front of you. You want to avoid sitting against the window or having that window in the shot. It's going to make basically exposing that scene really difficult. But if you just sort of set up your camera, rest it up against something, frame it up so it's some sort of mid shot, then that's going to be really good. Another option is if you're someone that's making something, for instance, then you can shoot a little bit wider and show what it is that you're actually, working on. Try and get the bench up a little bit higher so people can see, and frame it as close as you can so that you've got a little bit of headroom and that you can just see what you're working on. Don't get a full entire body shot with all this wasted headspace and leg room if it's not relevant to show your audience basically what you're working on. So make sure that you've still got a little bit of headroom and that it's relatively close to whatever you're doing. The other thing is you're then going to present your video or talk directly to camera all of the information that you've got. Now you can stop and start, it's completely fine. You're not going to basically be able to talk all the way through without messing up. As someone who's filmed thousands of videos, I still mess up all the time. So don't worry too much about getting it wrong. You can edit all that down later. The other thing is if you're making something or you're showing something with your hands, after you've filmed, you can take that camera away, set it up, and then film you making those things with your hands from a different angle. So that's something what we call a cutaway, where it shows what you're actually working on as a close-up, and you can overlay this over the top. If you're someone like me who's recording something on the screen, then the best option is to use QuickTime Player, which is free. You can get it on Mac and PC. And there's an option to actually screen record directly in that. It'll capture what you're seeing on your screen. You can then overlay this over the video once we get to the video editing section. So again, you're going to record a mid shot of you talking directly to camera, basically presenting the information. You're then either going to shoot a close-up of you making something with your hands if you're someone that's doing that sort of stuff, or you're going to screen record your screen, whatever you're showing them on screen. Now, if you're someone who's using slides, so say you want to use like a PowerPoint presentation or something like that, you could use PowerPoint. Another really great option is to use Google Slides. So Google Slides is free, and there's lots of great templates out there. You can drag and drop all of these different texts and elements around. Super easy to use. And then when you actually present your slides, it just gives something for the viewer to sort of follow along with. In my mini workshop, I'm just using Google Slides, and I'm using a lot of text on screen to sort of back up the main sort of points that I'm talking about. And I'm cutting in between a shot of me and a shot of my screen. And it really helps people understand what you're doing or showing them. Just remember, as someone who has made a full-time living doing this stuff and also an expert in the video field, I can tell you that no one cares about the quality. No one ever comes to you and says, oh, that quality of that video is not good. What they care about is the quality of the content that they've paid for. Obviously, your video needs to be audible and it needs to be clear enough so that when you're speaking to camera, they can see you. But it doesn't need to be some Hollywood production with professional lighting and thousands of dollars worth of camera. You don't need all of that stuff. You can just do it with your phone. And I've seen people make a lot of money from just simply shooting videos like this and creating mini courses out of that. Now, once you've filmed your video and you've got it on your phone, or you've got your screen recording on your computer, you want to transfer that over to, off your phone onto your computer. If you're using an iPhone, you can use AirDrop onto a Mac. If you're using Android, there's other programs you can use or apps. Just simply doing a Google search of your phone model on the computer that you're using, you'll quickly be able to work out what the best option for your setup is in order to get the files off and onto your computer. Now, as far as editing, you've got a few options. You can either edit it on your phone, which is a bit more tedious, but it allows you to just edit everything. There's tons of free video editing apps on the App Store. Here on screen is just a list of free apps that you can use for editing videos on your phone. I recommend editing videos on your computer because it's a little bit easier. Here's also a list of some free apps that you can use for editing on your computer. The main thing when it comes to editing your videos is keep it really simple. Don't overcomplicate it with hundreds of different layers. You only need 2 layers. You need a shot of you where you're talking and you've already got your audio basically embedded into that. And then you need some sort of cutaway, whether that's going to be your screen or a close-up of whatever it is that you're actually working on. Now, in the video editor, you're simply just going to lay out that first video track of your main shot, which is this shot of me talking to camera. Now here I'm using Final Cut Pro X. This is a paid program, but a lot of the video editors will all work the same. Now once I've got my video laid out, I can just use my blade tool or cut tool, whatever it may be called in the program that you're using, just to cut the video and delete the sections that I don't want. So if I make a mistake, I can just cut that section, delete it out. Now once I've kind of got the base sort of cut up, then I can actually overlay over the top of that my cutaway shot. So this might be your screen recording, it might be the shot of you making something. You can put that over the top and just cut that in sections over the top of that talking head. Now, the key here is to keep cutting back and forth at a reasonable sort of pace. You don't want it going too fast and you don't want it going too slow. You want to keep cutting back and forth at a reasonable pace, just like I am in this video, and that will help keep the audience engaged throughout the video. Again, keep it around sort of 5 to 8 videos and 8 to 15 minutes in length. If your mini course is getting bigger than that, then it's generally an indication that you haven't quite gotten to the core issue, or you're going too general in the sort of topic or whatever it is that you're discussing. You should be able to solve an issue for your audience member within that amount of time. If you can't do that, then you generally need to go back to the validation process and make sure that you're really hitting those points. It might be that you're just talking too much or you're going too general on the things you're saying. So maybe just cut some of that out and really focus in on following that structure here on screen and really making sure that you're getting down to the actual points that people can implement to get those results. Again, if you want to learn more about that process, you can watch the free mini workshop. There'll be a link down in the description below. Now, this was the 3rd video in our 5-part video series. In the next video, we're going to get into the process of how you actually sell that product or that mini course. And we're going to look at some of the free tools available to us out there that you can use in order to do that. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.